The crystal towers of the Lurathi Palace shone like tall blue flames under the twin suns. Light moved across the glass walls and traveled through long halls that seemed alive. Every step inside the palace echoed softly, as if the building was breathing. Guards with silver armor stood like statues near every doorway. Their tall forms and bright eyes made most visitors nervous. On this day, the guards waited for someone very different. They waited for a human. Captain Marcus Hale walked through the wide entrance with 2 escorts beside him. His boots tapped the floor with steady rhythm. He kept his eyes forward and his hands calm at his sides. He did not look at the many alien faces watching him. He knew he was the first human invited into the royal hall in many years, and he wanted to show respect. Marcus was strong but not heavy. His movements were clean and controlled, like a man who trained every day. His dark uniform showed small marks from past missions, but he wore it proudly. A faint scar across his right eyebrow was the only sign of danger he had faced earlier that week, when he stopped a pirate group near Lurathi territory. Word of his actions had spread faster than any messenger could run. As Marcus approached the final gate, a young alien attendant stopped him with a gentle hand raised. "Human captain?" she said softly. "The Queen is waiting. You must enter alone." Marcus nodded once. "I understand." He stepped forward while the heavy crystal gate slid open without sound. A wave of warm air washed over him as he stepped inside. The royal hall unfolded like a dream. Tall pillars of blue glass reached high into the sky. The floor reflected every step like a calm lake. At the far end of the hall stood the Queen's throne, carved from glowing stone that shimmered like stars. The Queen of the Lurathi Empire sat upon it, her long robes drifting like water around her. Her eyes glowed with gentle gold light, full of ancient wisdom. Beside her stood her daughter, Princess Elira. Elira was slender and graceful, her silver hair tied with thin braids decorated with tiny crystals. Her green eyes watched Marcus with sharp curiosity. She had never seen a human up close, and she had many doubts. Some said humans were reckless. Some said they were too unpredictable. She wanted to see for herself. Marcus walked until he reached the center of the hall, then stopped with a respectful bow of his head. "Captain Marcus Hale of Earth," the Queen said. Her voice was soft but powerful, like calm wind before a storm. "You acted with bravery near our border." "I only did my duty, Your Majesty," Marcus replied. The Queen studied him quietly. Her eyes moved over his uniform, his posture, the way he held his breath steady. Humans had a reputation for strong instincts and fast thinking. She wanted to know if this one was the same. "You protected our explorer vessel when it was attacked by pirates," she said. "You did not know the ship belonged to us. Yet you defended it without hesitation." Marcus met her gaze without fear. "A ship in danger is a ship in danger. Whoever needed help, I would have acted for them." The Queen exchanged a glance with her daughter. The princess raised one brow, surprised. She had expected him to brag or speak proudly of his action, but he simply stated it as fact. A small group of council members whispered behind the throne. Humans were rare guests, and a human who had just saved Lurathi citizens was even rarer. The Queen lifted her hand in a graceful motion. The whispering stopped. "Tell us about that battle," she said. "Tell us how you made your choice." Marcus took a slow breath. He kept his words simple and clear. "I was traveling near your border when I received a distress signal," he explained. "Pirates had surrounded your vessel. They were trying to disable its engines. I knew they would not show mercy, so I decided to act fast." He looked up at the Queen. "I moved my ship between theirs and yours. I used my vessel's shields to give your explorers time to power up their backup systems. I blocked several attacks until they escaped. Then I broke the pirate formation with a short jump and forced them to retreat." A council member from the right side stepped forward. "You risked damage to your own ship," he said. "Why? It was not your fight," Marcus answered without delay. "Right and wrong do not wait for written agreements." Princess Elira blinked, taken off guard by the direct answer. Humans were not known for polite words, but Marcus spoke with steady purpose. It was clear he believed what he said. The Queen leaned slightly forward. "Do humans always risk themselves for strangers?" "No," Marcus replied truthfully. "Not always. People are different everywhere. I only know what I choose to do." Elira's eyes softened a little. She could tell he did not hide anything. His honesty was simple and quiet. Marcus continued. The explorers on your ship were young, Your Majesty. They would not have survived long if I had turned away. The Queen took a slow breath. She remembered the report. Those explorers were indeed young trainees. Her heart felt a light ache at the thought of losing them. She looked at the human again, thankful for the first time. You have given our empire a gift, she said gently. The gift of lives saved. Marcus bowed his head again. I am glad I reached them in time. A moment of silence filled the hall. Princess Elira stepped down from the throne platform and approached Marcus with quiet steps. She circled him slowly, observing his stance, his breathing, his alert eyes. She was trained to read warriors, and she recognized discipline when she saw it. You stand like someone ready for anything, she said softly. Even here. It is a habit, he replied. Your palace is peaceful, but I stay prepared. Elira nodded, though she was unsure how to feel about it. Part of her admired the readiness. Another part wondered if humans lived with too much tension. The Queen watched them with interest. She could see her daughter's curiosity growing. Captain Marcus, the Queen said, drawing his attention back to the throne. Our empire faces uncertain days. Threats rise near our borders. Many of our warriors are skilled, but some dangers cannot be solved by strength alone. Marcus listened carefully. I sense that you are not only a fighter, she continued. You are a thinker. You choose your actions with care. I try to, he answered. The Queen stood from her throne. The council members gasped softly. The Queen rarely stood during meetings. She walked toward Marcus with slow, graceful steps. Her presence carried quiet authority that filled the hall. You may wonder why I summoned you, she said. Marcus stayed silent, waiting. You showed courage in danger. You showed respect to lives not your own. You acted without desire for reward, she said. These qualities are rare. Elira looked at her mother in surprise. She had not expected this level of praise. The Queen continued, her voice calm. Our empire needs allies who act with purpose, not pride. I wish to understand humans better. I wish to learn what guides your choices. Marcus nodded once. I will answer any questions you have. The Queen gave a small smile. Good. Then your time here begins today. The hall stirred with whispers. The human was being invited to stay. Princess Elira stepped forward again. She studied Marcus with fresh interest. Do not think this means we trust you fully, she said. You still must prove your path. Marcus met her eyes. I understand. Trust is something earned. Elira did not show it, but she respected that answer. The Queen raised her hand to signal the end of the meeting. Captain Marcus, she said, you will remain in the palace for a time. You will observe our ways. You will train with our warriors. You will show us who you truly are. Marcus bowed deeply. I accept. As he rose, the Queen's gaze held a quiet thought. She did not say it aloud, but she felt it strongly. This human might change the future of her empire, and the princess, standing at her side, felt the same growing curiosity in her heart. The hall lights dimmed slightly as Marcus was guided out. The great crystal doors closed behind him with silent grace. The Queen watched him go, sensing a new chapter beginning. Elira turned to her mother with a puzzled look. What do you see in him? She asked. The Queen smiled faintly. Potential, she said, a rare kind. And so the story of the human who entered the royal hall began, with calm steps and unseen destiny waiting ahead. Morning light filled the training courtyard of the Lorathi Palace. The ground was made of white stone, and the tall crystal walls reflected soft blue colors. The air smelled fresh, and the sound of distant fountains made the place calm. Yet inside this quiet space, tension was rising. Princess Elira stood near the center of the courtyard, her arms crossed and her green eyes fixed on her mother. The Queen. She looked frustrated but respectful, which was rare for her. Her silver hair glowed in the sunlight, making her look fierce despite her calm face. Mother, Elira said firmly, I must select my own royal guard. It has always been a tradition. I cannot accept a human as part of it. The Queen looked at her daughter with patient eyes. She respected Elira's strength and pride, but she also saw the fear hidden beneath the firm voice. The princess did not fear Marcus as a person. She feared the idea of trusting someone from a different world. You assume too quickly, the Queen said softly. I have not given him a place in your guard. I only ask that you observe him. Elira took a step forward. Observation is one thing, but you speak of him as if he carries a future role in our empire. He is a stranger. The queen did not argue harshly. Her voice stayed calm. He saved young explorers, Elira. You know this, Elira hesitated. She knew the story. She knew he acted without thinking of himself. Still, she used doubt to shield her pride. Maybe he acted for his own reputation, she said quietly, though she did not believe it fully. The queen gave a small smile. You saw him yesterday. Did he speak like someone seeking pride? Elira remembered Marcus standing in the royal hall, steady and honest. She remembered his simple answers that did not try to impress anyone. She remembered how he did not show fear even when every eye was on him. She looked away. Before she could reply, the sound of footsteps echoed across the courtyard. Marcus entered, wearing training clothes given to him by the palace staff. The outfit was dark and simple, but it fit him well. His posture was the same as always, calm, alert, respectful. He stopped when he saw the queen and princess. Your Majesty, he said with a bow. Princess. Elira kept her expression unreadable, though her eyes studied him again. She had seen warriors from many worlds, but humans moved differently. They carried both caution and confidence in every step. Marcus was no different. The queen turned toward Marcus. You begin training with our warriors today. I am ready, Marcus replied. Elira stepped closer, her eyes sharp. Our warriors do not train gently. They will not go easy on a human. Marcus nodded. Good. I learned better that way. Elira felt something tighten in her chest. His answer was simple, but it held quiet strength that she could not ignore. The queen raised her hand. Begin. The courtyard entrance opened, and 4 elite Lurathi warriors walked in. Their armor was light but strong, their movements smooth like flowing water. They formed a small circle around Marcus. The first warrior stepped forward. He was taller than Marcus and carried a wooden training staff. His eyes showed confidence, maybe even a bit of challenge. He wanted to see what the human could do. Are you prepared? The warrior asked. Marcus looked at him calmly. Yes. The warrior swung the staff lightly to test the human's reaction. Marcus moved aside with fast, clean steps. The warrior tried again, faster this time, but Marcus blocked the strike with his arm and pushed the staff away. The other warriors exchanged surprised looks. Elira crossed her arms tightly. She had expected him to struggle. The first warrior attacked with full speed. His strikes echoed across the courtyard. Marcus dodged, blocked, and stepped back with smart timing. After a few moments, he caught the staff with his hand and twisted it out of the warrior's grip. The staff landed on the ground. Elira raised her eyebrows. Even she did not expect that. The second warrior came forward immediately, testing Marcus with fast footwork. Marcus moved with calm focus, never rushing, never losing balance. He watched carefully and reacted with precision. He did not overpower them. He did not try to show off. He simply used clean technique and steady control. It earned silent respect. The queen observed everything with thoughtful eyes. Her daughter stood beside her, struggling to hide her surprise. He is not like the stories told about humans, Elira whispered. The queen answered softly. Stories are often shaped by fear, not truth. The third and fourth warriors joined the fight, turning it into a 4-way test. Marcus adjusted quickly. He stayed light on his feet, watching every angle. When one warrior tried to strike from behind, Marcus turned and blocked him with perfect timing. In the final moment, Marcus stepped forward and tapped each warrior's chest with the wooden staff, showing he could have won the duel without hurting anyone. The courtyard fell silent. The 4 warriors bowed to him with respect. Marcus bowed back. The queen smiled with quiet pride. Elira felt something shift inside her. It was not admiration yet, but it was the first step toward it. Marcus approached the queen again. He looked calm, though his breathing was a little faster. Thank you for the opportunity, he said. Elira could not help speaking. You fight differently than our warriors. Marcus nodded. Humans grow in harsh worlds. We learn to adapt. Elira tilted her head slightly. Your movements were not only strong, they were controlled. You did not strike to harm. Marcus looked at her with steady eyes. Training is for learning, not hurting. Elira felt warmth in her chest she did not expect. His words were simple, but they carried meaning. After the training ended, the queen invited Marcus to join her and Elira for a council meeting. They walked through long palace halls glowing with soft light. Elira walked beside Marcus, but she stayed quiet, still unsure how to speak to him. Inside the meeting chamber, generals stood around a holographic map of the outer sectors. The map showed red lights flickering on several borders. A general spoke. "These raids increase each week. We send ships, but the attackers escape quickly." Another added, "We need new ideas." The Queen turned to Marcus. "Captain, share your thoughts." The general stared at the human with doubt. Elira watched him closely. Marcus studied the map. He pointed at the red lights. "They strike places with weak patrols," he said. "They avoid direct fights. They choose targets that cannot defend themselves." The generals nodded cautiously. Marcus continued. "You chase them with large ships. That is slow. They will always escape if you move like that." Elira leaned in slightly, listening. "What do you suggest?" the Queen asked. Marcus thought for a moment. "A small unit. Fast ships. Mixed teams. Humans and Lorathi together. Move before the enemy expects." The room went silent. No one had considered mixed teams before. A general frowned. "Why humans?" Marcus answered simply. "Because humans think differently. And difference helps in surprise attacks." The Queen looked pleased. Elira felt her resistance weaken even more. It was difficult to argue with logic delivered so clearly. After the meeting, Elira walked with Marcus through one of the garden paths. She stayed quiet for several steps. Finally, she spoke. "I tested you earlier," she said. "I expected you to fail." Marcus nodded. "I guessed that." Elira looked at him with honest eyes. "You surprised me," Marcus replied calmly. "Surprise is not my goal, Princess. I only try to do what is right." Elira felt a strange warmth again. She did not know what it meant, but she did not push it away. The Queen watched them from a distance, a gentle smile on her face. She saw change beginning, slow but certain. The sun lowered behind the crystal towers, casting long blue shadows across the palace. The day had started with doubt. It ended with the first signs of trust. And so, without knowing it, the princess took her first step toward a future she never expected. The twin suns were setting behind the Lorathi palace, covering the crystal towers in soft gold light. The halls were peaceful, but the mood inside the empire was not. Across the outer systems, small attacks continued. Border worlds sent warning signals every few days, and frightened merchants whispered of silent raiders who struck fast and vanished into darkness. Inside the war chamber, a large round room filled with glowing maps, the Queen stood with her generals. The air felt heavy. Red lights blinked across the holographic star map, showing every recent attack. Each one was a warning. Princess Elira stood beside her mother, wearing light armor that fit her perfectly. She looked calm, but worry sat quietly behind her eyes. Marcus stood on the opposite side of the table, studying the map with careful focus. The Queen broke the silence first. "The attacks grow closer to our main trade routes," General Velos replied with frustration. "We send ships. They arrive too late every time. The raiders vanish before our cruisers reach them." Elira spoke. "They know our fleet patterns. They strike when our defenses weaken." Marcus nodded. "They plan well. They test your borders. They look for a place where your guard is weakest." General Velos crossed his arms. "Then tell us, human. How do we stop them?" Marcus ignored the tone. He pointed at 3 blinking lights on the map. "These attacks happened in a straight path. They are moving toward the Vathir Belt." Another general looked closer. "The Vathir Belt has no strong defenses." Marcus answered, "Exactly. They will strike there next." The Queen watched him carefully. "How sure are you?" "Sure enough to prepare," Marcus replied. Elira felt a small spark of respect. He did not use complex words. He used simple logic and clear thinking. That honesty made his warnings easy to trust. The Queen nodded slowly. "Then we will act. Marcus, you will command a small team as you suggested." General Velos objected immediately. "Your Majesty, giving leadership to a human—" She raised her hand. His voice stopped. "This is not about tradition," she said firmly. "This is about finding answers." Velos bowed his head, defeated. The Queen turned back to Marcus. "Your team will be mixed. Humans and Lorathi. You will test your plan on a real mission." Marcus bowed. "I will not fail." Elira watched him with quiet interest. His confidence was not loud or aggressive. It was steady, like a man who had seen danger before and learned to stand calm in front of it. Later that afternoon, the courtyard filled with activity. Marcus met the members of his new team. There were 4 Lorathi warriors, each chosen for skill and discipline. There were also 2 human specialists who had arrived earlier for diplomatic work. Together they formed a small but balanced group. Illyra approached the team. Her presence made the warriors straighten up. Marcus turned to her with a respectful nod. "You will lead them well," Illyra said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed genuine belief. Marcus appreciated that. "Thank you, Princess." She hesitated for a moment. "I will join you." The warriors looked surprised. Marcus did not show it. He only asked, "Are you sure?" Illyra lifted her chin proudly. "If this mission protects my people, I must be there." Marcus nodded. "Then I will make sure the team moves as one." Before they left, the queen arrived. Her robe flowed like dark silver smoke, glowing in the fading light. She looked at her daughter first. "Illyra, stay close to the team." "Yes, mother." The queen then turned to Marcus. "Your insight guides this mission. Return safely, all of you." Marcus bowed deeply. "We will." Soon after, the small team boarded a fast scout ship. It was silent, sleek, and built for speed. Inside, the lights were dim and the control panels glowed softly. Marcus took the co-pilot seat while Illyra stood behind him, watching the star map. "Course set for the Vathir belt," the pilot said. Marcus replied, "Move quietly. No open signals." The ship launched into space with a smooth burst of light. Stars stretched across the window as they traveled through calm darkness. Hours passed. The team remained alert. Marcus studied patterns on the screen, watching for signs of the raiders. Illyra stepped closer. "You are searching for a trail," she said. Marcus nodded. "Every ship leaves a pattern. Even raiders." She watched him work, surprised at his patience. "You are not like the stories I heard about humans." Marcus smiled lightly. "What do they say?" "That humans rush into danger without thinking." "Sometimes," he admitted. "But most humans learn to use thought before action." Illyra studied him for another moment. "I am beginning to see that." Before their conversation could continue, an alert sound filled the ship. The pilot spoke quickly. "Captain Marcus, I detect faint signal traces." "Not natural." Marcus leaned forward. "Can you trace them?" "Yes. They are heading toward a cluster of broken asteroids." Illyra frowned. "A perfect place for ambush." Marcus nodded. "Exactly why they chose it." The team prepared for contact. Weapons were checked. Communication channels were set to silent. The ship slowed and moved through the dark asteroid field with quiet steps. Through the front window, small drifting rocks blocked most light. Shadows moved everywhere, making it hard to see danger until it was close. Marcus watched carefully. "Hold steady." "They are near." A sudden flash appeared from the left side. A small raider ship darted through the shadows. Its movements were sharp and quick. "They see us," one warrior shouted. "No," Marcus said calmly. "They are not sure yet." The raider ship circled them, trying to read their intentions. Marcus made a quick decision. "Do not raise shields," he ordered. "Play silent. Make them think we are lost." The team trusted him, Illyra whispered. "You plan to let them come closer?" "Yes," Marcus answered. "Then we follow them home." The raider ship scanned their vessel, then turned away at high speed. "Follow them," Marcus ordered. The pilot activated the engines at low power. They trailed the raider from a distance, staying in the dark side of the asteroids. Minutes later, a large shape appeared in the shadows, a base, hidden inside a hollow asteroid. Lights blinked across its surface. Small ships hovered around it like insects guarding a nest. Illyra's voice lowered. "So this is where they hide," Marcus nodded. "Now we know they're home." The moment felt heavy. This discovery could save the outer worlds. Suddenly, the raider they followed flew into the base. Alarms flashed inside the scout ship. "They detected us," the pilot shouted. Marcus reacted instantly. "Reverse course." "All power to engines." The ship turned sharply just as 2 raider vessels shot toward them at high speed. Illyra grabbed the rail beside her to stay steady. The chase began. The scout ship moved through tight asteroid paths, dodging rocks and incoming fire. Marcus guided the pilot with calm, quick directions. "Left. Drop altitude. Speed now." The ship escaped one volley. Another blast followed. Illyra looked at Marcus through the flashing lights. "Can we outrun them?" "Yes," Marcus said firmly. "Hold on." The ship burst out of the asteroid field with a final push, leaving the raiders behind. When the danger finally faded, The team took long breaths of relief. The pilot wiped sweat from his forehead. That was close. Marcus looked at Alyra. We got what we needed, Alyra nodded. Her eyes were bright with energy. A hidden base. My mother must know at once, Marcus agreed. This changes everything. The ship turned back toward the palace, carrying news that would shake the Empire. Inside her heart, Alyra felt something new. Trust. Not full trust yet, but the first real step toward it. And for Marcus, this mission was only the beginning of a deeper role he did not yet see. The alien palace was silent except for the faint hum of energy flowing through its walls. The human stood in the grand hall, watching the alien soldiers move with precision, their movements both graceful and dangerous. His heart was steady, but his mind raced. He knew that every moment here could change everything for the princess, the queen, and the entire alien world. The princess walked beside him, her eyes bright with determination. She had grown stronger since their first meeting, her fear replaced by a quiet courage. She no longer hid behind her royal title or the traditions that had kept her trapped for so long. Now she was ready to act, and she trusted the human completely. The queen, a towering figure clad in shimmering armor, entered the hall. Her presence demanded attention. Every soldier froze, every drone paused. The air felt heavier, charged with the weight of authority. Her eyes scanned the room, finally resting on the human. She did not speak immediately. She only stared, analyzing, judging, calculating. The princess took a step forward. Mother, she said firmly, this human is not our enemy. He has saved my life and the lives of many in the palace. He is my warrior. The queen's eyes narrowed. A small ripple of surprise ran through the soldiers. No princess had ever called a human their warrior. Humans were known across the galaxy for their unpredictability, their reckless courage, and their strange, untamed strength. Most alien species avoided them, fearing what they could not control. But the princess did not hesitate. She was willing to stand against her own mother for him. The human's expression remained calm. He did not speak, but he allowed the queen to study him. He could feel the tension in the room, the silent question. Could a human truly be trusted? Could one even survive in this alien hierarchy? He had learned long ago that actions spoke louder than words. The queen finally spoke, her voice echoing through the hall like distant thunder. You dare enter my palace and claim a human as your warrior. Her tone was sharp, commanding, but there was a hint of curiosity beneath the surface. The princess did not falter. He has proven himself, she said. In battle, in strategy, and loyalty. He saved me and he has saved many others. You may not understand him, but he is not like any being you have ever encountered. The queen's eyes flickered to the soldiers. And you, human, she said slowly. Do you understand what you claim? You are surrounded by my warriors. One wrong step, one false move, and you will not leave this hall alive. The human smiled slightly. It was not arrogance. It was confidence. The quiet confidence of someone who had faced death more times than he could count. I understand, he said simply, and I am ready. For a moment, the queen studied him in silence. Then she gestured and a platform rose from the floor. The walls of the hall shifted, revealing a holographic map of the galaxy. Stars and planets glowed softly in the dim light. The queen's voice was now calm but firm. Your actions have not gone unnoticed, she said. The galaxy watches the humans with caution. Some fear your unpredictability, others respect your courage. But now a threat grows in the outer sectors. A coalition of alien races seeks to claim this galaxy for themselves. They will not hesitate. They will destroy anything in their path. If you wish to be my warrior, human, you must prove yourself against this threat. The princess reached for his hand, giving it a gentle squeeze. We will face this together, she said. The human nodded. He had expected challenges, but the scale of this one was larger than he had imagined. Still, he had never backed down from impossible odds. He looked at the map, tracing the paths of enemy fleets, their movements precise, their numbers overwhelming. The queen continued. You will lead a strike team. You will infiltrate their command center. You will gather intelligence and sabotage their operations. This is not a mission for the faint of heart. You will face enemies who outnumber you 10 to 1. If you fail, the consequences will ripple across every system under my rule. The human studied the map, calculating in his mind. He could see the weak points in their formation, the gaps in their security. We will need allies, he said. The queen's brow furrowed slightly. Allies? Do you mean the princess's forces? He shook his head. No, I mean others like me. Humans. There are more of us in the outer sectors, and they will fight when they see the injustice. We will not face this alone. The princess' eyes widened. You have contacts? She whispered. The human nodded. Not many, but enough. The queen's expression softened slightly. She studied the two of them, this unlikely pair. She could see the bond between them. A bond stronger than blood or title. It was rare, even among aliens, to see such trust. She made a decision. You will have my blessing, she said finally. But remember, human, you are not one of us. You will be tested, and you will be judged by your actions alone. Fail, and there will be no second chance. The human bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. I understand, Your Majesty. The princess breathed a small sigh of relief. Thank you, she said softly. I know this is not easy for you. The queen waved a hand, and the hall transformed again. Small ships appeared along the edges of the map, ready for deployment. Soldiers moved to the doors, preparing to escort the human and the princess to the launch bay. The queen's voice echoed one final time, sharp and commanding. Go. Prove that your courage is not a fleeting spark. Show me that the human can be a true warrior. And remember, the galaxy watches all who dare step beyond the stars. As they walked toward the launch bay, the princess glanced at the human. Do you ever get scared? She asked quietly. He smiled faintly. Every time. But fear is a tool. You can let it control you, or you can use it to sharpen yourself. The princess nodded. She had watched him face impossible odds before, and now she understood what he meant. Fear did not make him weak. It made him precise, careful, and unstoppable when the moment demanded it. The launch bay was a whirl of motion. Alien engineers prepared the ships, running final checks. The human observed everything, noting the capabilities of the craft, the weapon systems, the defensive shields. Every detail mattered. The princess stood beside him, her eyes scanning the fleet. Are you ready? She asked. The human nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. They boarded the lead ship, a sleek black vessel that gleamed under the bay's lights. The engines hummed to life, vibrating beneath their feet. The princess strapped herself into the command seat beside him, her hands steady on the controls. She had trained for this moment, but nothing could have fully prepared her for the reality. The human ran through the final checklist. Weapons online. Shields active. Navigation systems calibrated. Communications open. He turned to the princess. Once we leave the bay, there is no turning back. Are you sure you want to do this? She met his gaze, unflinching. I've never been more sure of anything. The engines roared and the ship lifted from the bay. Through the massive windows, they could see the palace shrink behind them, the lights of the city sparkling like distant stars. They were leaving home, stepping into unknown dangers, but together. As they entered the warp corridor, the princess leaned closer. I believe in you, she said softly. The human's expression softened for a brief moment. And I will protect you, he replied, no matter what comes. Outside the ship, the stars stretched into long streaks of light, signaling the beginning of a journey that would test them in ways neither could imagine. The human was no longer just a visitor in this alien world. He was a warrior, chosen by the princess, acknowledged by the queen, and now tasked with a mission that could change the fate of the galaxy. As the warp drive hummed, the princess watched him, her mind racing with hope and fear. She had no doubt that together they could face the enemy. She had no doubt that his courage would inspire those around him. But deep down she knew the galaxy would test him, and her, in ways that would push them to the limits. The human sat in the command chair, calm and focused. He could feel the weight of expectations pressing down on him, but he welcomed it. Every challenge he had faced in his life had led him to this moment. Now it was time to prove that a human could not only survive but lead, inspire and conquer when the stakes were highest. The journey ahead was dangerous, full of unknowns, but for the first time, the princess and the human were not alone. They had each other, and in the vast darkness of space that was more powerful than any weapon, shield, or fleet. The stars stretched endlessly before them. Their mission had begun. The galaxy would watch, and the human would show what it truly meant to be a warrior. The human's ship glided through the dark expanse of space, stars streaking past like lines of fire. Every movement, every calculation mattered. The coalition's forces were vast, a web of fleets spanning multiple sectors. They had prepared for war, assuming that no one could challenge their dominance. But they had not counted on humans. The princess sat beside the human, her hands steady on the controls, her eyes scanning the tactical display. "Do you see them?" she asked softly. Her voice carried both concern and determination. The human nodded. "Yes, their fleet is large, but they are predictable. They rely on strength in numbers. We rely on precision and adaptability." He tapped a few commands, sending small signals to the outer sectors. Other humans, hidden and waiting, would join the fight when the time was right. The coalition thought they had superiority, but the human knew that courage and intelligence often outweighed numbers. The princess leaned closer, studying the strategy. "How do we start?" The human's eyes gleamed with focus. "We disrupt their command first. Without leadership, their forces will fall into confusion. That is when our allies will strike." The ship descended toward the enemy's central command station. Massive, armored, and bristling with weapons, it seemed impossible to penetrate. Yet the human remained calm. He had faced impossible odds before. The difference now was that he had the princess by his side, a partner who could anticipate his moves, support him, and act with him as a team. As they approached, enemy sensors detected their presence. Alarms blared across the command station, lights flashing red and orange. The coalition soldiers scrambled to respond, but the human ship moved with speed and precision. He twisted the ship through narrow corridors of defense, dodging lasers and energy pulses. The princess adjusted the shields, channeling energy to protect them from incoming fire. Her hands were steady, her focus absolute. "We're in range," she said. The human activated the stealth drive, a risky maneuver that would allow them to slip past the outer defenses. The ship shimmered and disappeared from enemy sensors. The coalition fleet's attention turned outward, scanning for threats they could not see. The human and the princess maneuvered closer to the command station. "We need to board it," he said. "Once inside, we will disable their systems and send a signal to their allies. Then we can create chaos." The princess nodded. "I'm ready." They launched a small assault craft, entering the heart of the command station. Inside, the corridors were cold and metallic. Guards patrolled, but the humans' knowledge of tactics allowed them to move silently, avoiding detection. The princess followed his lead, moving with confidence, a silent shadow beside him. They reached the central control room. Enormous screens displayed star maps, fleet movements, and tactical data. At the center sat the enemy commander, a massive figure armored in dark metal. He looked up as the doors opened, his expression a mixture of surprise and anger. "You dare enter my station?" he demanded. "Humans are supposed to be weak, reckless, and insignificant." The human stepped forward. "We are neither weak nor reckless. We are determined. And today we will show you what humans can do." The princess raised her energy staff, prepared to act if necessary. Her eyes met the human's, a silent signal of trust and courage. The commander lunged, but the human anticipated his move. With precise timing, he dodged the strike and used the environment to his advantage, disabling key systems and sending control signals to the fleet outside. Chaos erupted. Lights flickered, alarms sounded, and enemy soldiers scrambled in confusion. The human moved with speed and strategy, targeting control panels, disabling communication links, and shutting down weapon systems. The princess assisted, neutralizing soldiers who tried to interfere. Together, they were unstoppable, a perfect combination of strategy, strength, and courage. Outside, the coalition fleet began to falter. Without central command, their attacks became disorganized. Human allies in hidden positions struck, disabling ships and creating openings. What had seemed impossible moments ago now turned into a battlefield where humans and their allies held the advantage. The enemy commander, realizing defeat was near, attempted to escape. The human and the princess pursued, cornering him in the station's hangar. The commander raised his weapon, but the human's calm precision disarmed him in a single move. The princess restrained him, ensuring he could not cause further harm. The control room lights flickered back to normal. The human sent a final command through the enemy's network, broadcasting a message of surrender to the scattered fleets. One by one, ships powered down, their crews realizing that resistance was futile. The princess exhaled, relief washing over her. "We did it," she whispered. The human nodded, though he remained vigilant. "The mission is not over until every threat is neutralized," he said. They returned to their ship, watching as the coalition fleets retreated. The galaxy was safe for now. The human had proven what he had always known, that courage, intelligence, and determination could overcome any odds, even against a vastly superior force. As they approached the alien palace, the queen awaited them. Her expression was unreadable, but when the human and princess landed, she studied them both carefully. "You have done what I did not believe possible," she said finally. "You have faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. You have proven yourself human, not just as a warrior, but as a leader and protector." The princess smiled at the queen. "I told you he could do it," she said softly. The queen's gaze returned to the human. "You have earned your place here. Your courage and strategy have saved my people and the galaxy. You are no longer just a visitor. You are a warrior, a leader, and an ally." The human bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what was necessary." The princess took his hand, her eyes shining. "And that is why I called you my warrior," she said. "Because you are more than a fighter. You are someone who stands for what is right, who faces danger without hesitation, and who inspires others to do the same." The queen studied the two of them, a rare smile forming on her lips. "You have brought honor not just to yourself, but to those who follow you. The galaxy will remember this day." Word of their victory spread quickly. Across multiple sectors, alien worlds spoke of the human who had led a daring mission, who had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. The princess's people celebrated, honoring both the human and their princess for their courage and leadership. The human and the princess stood together on the palace balcony, watching the stars. The battle was over, but the galaxy was vast and new challenges would arise. Yet for the first time, the human knew that he had allies, a home among the stars, and a bond with someone who believed in him completely. The princess leaned close. "Do you ever think about how this all began?" she asked. The human smiled faintly. "Every day. And I am grateful. Grateful that we found each other, that we faced this together, and that we proved that courage and loyalty matter no matter where you come from." The princess rested her head on his shoulder. "The galaxy has changed because of you," she whispered. He looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of responsibility and the warmth of companionship. "No," he said quietly. "We changed the galaxy together." The queen approached, placing a hand on the princess's shoulder. "You have chosen wisely," she said. "And human, you have exceeded every expectation. You have shown that even the smallest spark can ignite a fire that reshapes the universe." The princess squeezed his hand, and the human felt a sense of belonging he had never known. He was more than a warrior now. He was part of something greater, a protector, a leader, and a partner to the princess he had fought for. As the sun of the alien world rose, casting golden light across the palace, the human and the princess looked toward the future. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, but they had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome any challenge. And so the human story became legend, not because of strength alone, but because of heart, loyalty, and the unwavering bond between him and the princess. The galaxy would remember the day when a human stood beside an alien princess and changed the course of history forever. Together, they stepped into the light, ready for whatever adventures and challenges awaited them. And for the first time, both knew that with trust, courage, and determination, nothing in the galaxy could stand against them.